Oh no.
Hey, Mark, did you see that intro? Did you see I put his right name in there?
Congratulations on fucking fixing it the first fucking week you knew about it. I guess
That's
that
right.
goes to show that you love MPI more than you love Jan.
Wait. I gotta call it out, though. You only fixed half of it.
Oh,
Oh,
don't be a
no.
dick. Don't be a dick.
Well,
What?
Spencer,
I'm
you're
saying
fired.
All I'm saying
Okay.
is you clearly love MPI more than you love Jan.
Hey.
I mean, bros before hoes, dude.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
Damn.
Okay, thanks for coming to the show, everybody. I guess this is our
Yeah.
last episode.
Yep. It's been a good run.
Hello, everybody. My name is Fight Club Hobbs, and welcome to another wonderful episode of GVN Live. And with me is Jan, Spencer, and Mark. This is going to be an interesting episode, so I'm going to turn it over to the host, Spencer, who should have done the intro first, but we got derailed right away.
Look, man, it wouldn't be a show that I'm hosting if it doesn't get derailed or have some type of technical difficulty. That's my life, man. It is what it is.
It wouldn't be a real stream if it didn't have
Oh,
Skype,
hey,
right?
fireworks outside. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Jeez, like
Streaming
a
is
fucking
hard.
live streamer's hosting the shit. Jesus Christ.
Hey, streaming is hard, okay?
Uh-huh.
Okay? Fight me.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
I will fucking fight you on the moon.
that's fine.
But you're in hell. How does that? Oh wait, hold on. No, I know how that works. I've seen Doom.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing eventually. It all just runs together.
You can't just shoot a
Um,
hole in Mars.
Bullshit, I
Shoot
can't.
a hole in
Yeah.
Mars.
You could try, I guess. I don't know if it'll work.
Yeah, not with that fucking attitude.
Not if you're a coward. God.
Yeah, if you're a quitter.
Well,
Ooh.
Hey, do you guys know we're doing a podcast?
no shit.
No.
Yeah.
Are we?
Hey,
I didn't
guys,
realize.
You want to talk about some video games? That'll be fun.
No.
Let's talk about video games.
We
Alright,
always
cool.
talk about video games.
Alright, cool.
Yeah. So, Jesus Christ. So the first week they make me host this show, we go off rails 2 seconds in.
I'm glad.
Why don't we'll start out easy then. What have people been playing? Mark, you can go first since I'm making you go first. What have you been playing?
Warframe, motherfucker.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've been playing Warframe so much, I'm playing Warframe right now.
Yeah.
Good.
What platform?
PC.
Like literally, as we're recording this, I'm playing Warframe because that's how little of a commitment I have to journalistic integrity.
You know, all of that tracks.
That seems about right for you, Mark.
Cool. Mark's got a super exciting life of just Warframe.
Excellent.
Yeah, just
glad.
Warframe. Just Warframe.
Jan, what have you been playing?
Finished the 5-3 story for Final Fantasy 14, which made me cry like 5 billion times because reasons. Shadowbringers has been just nothing but a fucking joyride. I've had nothing but fun with it. Picked up Fall Guys because that game's adorable and I love running around, as a bean because who doesn't?
The game's
And-
so goofy and I love it.
It really is. So for $20, you have way too much fun for what it's worth, and you get so much more out of it than just like the $20 you paid. Especially if you're playing with other people, it's just like so good. Oh right, and then I guess Risk of Rain 2 finally came out of early access, so they released their 1.0 patch and they added like a fuckload of extra content. So I've been enjoying that too. So that's been pretty fun.
Okay, that's right. I wasn't here 2 weeks ago, so I guess I'm also playing Grounded.
Fair.
Are you still playing that?
I'm waiting for the next content update at the end of August.
Okay.
Because like there's only so much you can do with building a tower so tall that it eclipses the size of the actual house.
Right. Yeah, I knew that you had kind of like gotten to the end of basically what you could do with what was available.
Right.
Well, cool. What about you, Hubs? What have you been playing?
Pokemon.
Which Pokemon?
Which one,
And why do
though?
you sound so defeated about it?
Because I
That's 'cause
wasn't.
it's probably Sword and Shield.
How else am I supposed to feel about getting back into fucking Pokemon?
I mean,
I don't
you're
know.
grown. You can do what you want.
I know.
Oh,
What
it
it's
Ain't
like.
that bad.
I know. It's like you play this game, and then you get out of it, and then you come back to it, and then you're hooked into it again, and then you manage to get out of it. And now here I am, like coming back for the ninth time, and now I'm getting sucked back into the goddamn world of Pokemon. But it's like
that's fine. I have Pokemon right there. I have a Gengar and a Pokeball.
There you go.
hey.
I ain't mad about it.
Speaking of which, I got a Haunter.
haven't
We need
done
to
that
trade
at
with
all.
you to make it evolve.
Ooh, yeah, we need to do that soon because I will be soon getting rid of my copy of Pokemon. I have ran my course with it, and I don't feel like I'm going back to it. So I have a friend
Even-
who just bought a Switch and is needing games to play.
Yeah, and I'm probably gonna start playing the Asshole Goose game again because they added multiplayer for twice the assholeness.
I was say I just saw that was going to get multiplayer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's
so
pretty cool.
I would love to try that out with somebody. I have a couple friends who have the game, so and maybe there's somebody else in this podcast that might have it.
I have it on Game Pass.
I don't have it. Oh, I guess I would have it on Game Pass. Yeah.
Wait, it came out on Xbox? I thought it was a Switch only
Nope,
game.
no.
it's
It's
on
on Game-
PC
it's on Game Pass.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
I
it's
got
on
it
Game
on
Pass for
Switch, so
PC.
I guess I'm not playing it with anybody here.
No, everyone has it on something completely different. It's fine.
It's a hard sell when I already have it on Game Pass. Like, I've looked at a ton of games I would love to play on my Switch. And I'm like, but I have it on Game Pass. Like, why am I buying this? Like, I already pay a monthly
So
subscription
you
to
can.
play it.
Well, to be fair, there is a good reason if it's on the Switch to buy it on the Switch, so you can play it while you're farting under the covers.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
Yeah,
Yeah.
that.
I was really about to be like, wow, Mark didn't mention the bathroom yet. I'm shocked.
No, I don't. I don't play video games when I go to the bathroom. Honestly,
I mean, that's fair.
I like. But here's my thing. Like, I don't spend a lot of time in the bathroom at any given point in time because, like, I take a lot of fiber supplements, so I shit like a champion.
Ah, excellent.
There you go. See, that's the trick, kids.
Eat your
Fiber
Wheaties
supplement.
and shit like a champ.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And then you don't have to play games all the time.
No, I play games all the time. I just don't need to play them while I'm taking a dump because, like, it's like
Right.
2 minutes and I'm done.
He doesn't need to sit there for longer than he needs to and let
Yeah.
the shit stir and, create a nice, wonderful odor.
Yeah, like what am I fucking Al Bundy?
God.
Really upset that I didn't put alcohol in this coffee that I made.
Shit.
Well, consider that a life lesson.
Yeah. Spencer,
Today
you're in for a
I
show.
remember.
Welcome to GVN Live, Spencer.
Somehow, none
Yeah.
of this surprises me, says Malik.
It doesn't.
I mean-
That's the bad part. None of this is a surprise to any of us.
No.
I mean, listen, have you met me?
That's pretty accurate.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty fair. So I haven't really been playing a whole lot. My wife and I just got a second Switch to play Splatoon together.
Ooh.
Because that doesn't have split screen.
Great
and-
decision, Nintendo.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, hey, we have 2 fucking Switches because of it, so good on them, I guess.
Yeah,
on 'em.
fair enough.
But the
And
same
then,
time, remember that Splatoon was supposed to be Nintendo's esports game, so that's why.
right.
Oh
Yeah, and instead of looking at like Call of Duty and stuff that had it, they went, I don't know, Halo 5 didn't have it, and that went over well. Spoiler alert, it didn't. Everybody hated that. Everybody hated that. So, other than that, I let her try my copy of Animal Crossing, and now we're both playing Animal Crossing together. So I'm back
Hey.
into that.
Hmm.
But now I have a T-Rex that I'm going to put by my airport. I feel like I've beat the game. I don't know where I'm going from there.
Hmm.
It's all downhill. All right. Well,
I mean, there's deep sea fishing stuff.
That actually is kind of cool. Going out and like swimming and catching stuff because I feel like I'm finally getting new stuff again. Because for a while it was just like, I got the same fish for the 4,000th time. I don't care anymore.
Oh, good. It's actually a C plus.
Yeah. Thanks. I hate it.
By the way, I just want to address something real quick. So, if everybody in the stream is watching the podcast instead of just listening, you'll notice that, everybody like Jan and Spencer is looking a little pixelated just because my internet's acting a little funky with the download speed. My upload is fine. The connection between us right now is a little funky because of something going on with my internet. I don't know what the hell's going on, but yeah, just bear with us. It'll still be a quality crap show, so just sit back and enjoy.
When is
This is the one thing that's going to take it down.
Hey, we've made some quality content. I
suppose bad is a quality.
Hey, that Dreamcast episode and that Doom episode that I planned out fucking worked out great. I don't want to hear it, mister.
All right, I guess.
I mean, I'll give you that.
It's okay. Isn't Mark the next host?
Yeah,
We all just shit on his episode. It's fine.
Exactly.
it's fine.
That was what I was expecting, so it's not like that'll be,
I'm gonna stream this on the toilet with my phone. His episode.
Thanks, I hate it.
I feel like that somehow breaks TOS somewhere or another.
I'm pretty sure it does.
Look,
I don't know, not my stream.
Robert, nobody wants to see your junk.
Why would I show you my junk?
I
Dude,
mean,
why
then
are
what's
you-
the point? What's the point of being on the toilet if you're not like?
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
let this conversation happen. I don't fucking care. Fight it out over whatever weird thing you're gonna fight about.
Onlyfans.com/GVN Live.
Yeah, tune in to see Mark on the toilet.
Good. I'm glad.
Yep. I would pay $5 to not see that.
$5 a month and not have to worry about Hubs' junk. Thanks. Thanks.
Okay, so that's a terrible thing that we just talked about. Let's talk about another terrible thing. So Oculus, if you guys don't know what that is, they're the VR headset company. And when they were still kind of in like their startup phase, Facebook purchased them. Nobody liked it, but Facebook just kind of left them alone. They just said, hey, we own you now, and here's a little bit of money. Go make your stuff. Make us some money back. Okay, we can deal with that, right? No big deal. So today, Oculus tweeted, anyone creating a new account as of now, so if you went out, bought a headset today, went to set it up, and create a new account, you have to sign in with a Facebook account. And existing users have until January 1st of 2023 to merge their accounts, their Oculus account and their Facebook account, to keep all access to things. So January 1st of 2023, if those aren't linked, you lose full access. I don't know exactly what that means, but full access will not be available if you're just using an Oculus account because they won't be supporting it anymore. I'm guessing that means like you can't buy anything new. You won't get any software updates for games or for the headset. So it'll just kind of be like you have an old console that isn't supported anymore because you didn't link your Facebook account. And I hate that. That sounds terrible. No. I don't want to use Facebook more than I have to for anything anyway, let alone link it to my VR headset.
Oh yeah.
It's
a tale as old as time. Companies try to force mergers or try to force integration with software or social media in order to allow them to give access to their content. I mean, we see people like Ubisoft do it with their Uplay nonsense. EA is still forcing people to use their piece of shit program, even though their games are back on Steam. Like, I want to play Mass Effect 3 on Steam now. Oh no, guess what? You have to have Origin still installed because it's got to access Origin after you start the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, Ubisoft does it. So, like, why can't everyone else do it? I don't know. It's The concept behind this, though, is that, like, and the thing that really bothers me the most is that they've already had the thing where if you didn't log into your Facebook account, it would always, like, be like, hey, you should link your Facebook to your Oculus so that you can have access to your friend lists, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't need to worry about it. It's not something I'm using it for. I'm just using it for fucking VR chat and fucking Audica. Like, I don't fucking care, right? Well, now Facebook is all like, haha, now you have to do the thing. And I'm like, y'all suck. Because, like, there are plenty of people who get their, like, VR stuff and they don't have a Facebook. They just don't.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, there are a lot of people who have left Facebook because they just don't want to be on the fucking platform anymore. And now you're telling them that they have to use a fucking Facebook account to access their Oculus friends list and their Oculus fucking, like, their game purchases that weren't purchased through Steam were in fact purchased directly through the software, which, let's be honest, that's basically anybody that decided they were going to pick up a fucking Quest.
Yeah.
Like,
How many? Do we have any numbers for how many Oculus Rifts have sold so far?
I don't know. Do we? I could look something up real quick.
Because
we
that
could probably
thought just
grab
crossed
some.
that just crossed my mind. Like, how many? I mean, this is a thing that went for as much as $600. I doubt a whole lot of people have jumped on board. I'm sure PlayStation VR has outsold it by like a margin of 2-1, and that's only on like a PS4 as opposed to like PC or Oculus being backwards compatible on Xbox One.
I would think that the Oculus would probably sell more just because I think the PC marketplace is probably going to breed more people who are going to be willing to pay money for that sort of thing.
Mhm.
Well,
Like early adopters who are willing to spend like $600 on a piece of thing, whereas like PlayStation VR, like all you're getting out of that is the ability to play PlayStation VR games.
But at the same
Right.
time, I mean, when you look at the PC market, we've already had like 2 or 3 like VR headsets that were out long before. You have HTC and Samsung who've had theirs on the market for at least 2 to 3 years before Oculus finally released theirs.
Oh,
Yeah.
So there's
Does Samsung actually make a headset?
HTC does.
Samsung just does the
is
one you pop your
specifically-
phone in, right?
Right, yeah, which is
Yeah,
the same
it
thing
was-
as like the Oculus Go, which is just something that you can use for your cell phones for VR.
Yeah.
So there are 4 major VR AR headsets that exist. There's
Yeah, it's the
Sony's-
Gear. It's the Samsung VR Gear. That's
Yeah,
not
and
that's not the one
that's a
where you
s-
pop your phone into. That's a different one. But they actually make
It's a
their own.
standalone VR headset. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It hasn't sold for shit if that's the case.
I'm
because
gonna
right now
break
the
the
only-
stream for a second.
That's fine.
There we go.
So the only number that I found is the same one that Nate is putting in chat. The Quest has sold 400,000 units.
That's
Right.
good
That's
numbers.
just the Quest. That's the one
Yeah,
that
that's
you
the
won't have to
wireless
have a
one.
PC for. It's all done.
Oh, actually,
It-
fun fact. Yes, you do. In order for the Quest, to actually function, it must be initiated or it must be initialized on a PC first. It then links it to your Oculus account, which allows you to then utilize it via Wi-Fi. It can also be connected directly to a PC to play games that you have attached to Steam, but is generally used wirelessly as that is its sort of biggest like draw in, right?
Mhm.
Right.
But it honestly, it only needs it for its initial setup. But once it's been set up, then you don't need to worry about the PC anymore because everything is stored internally. Because it does have its own SSD inside, so that it can actually like run and host its own games locally, which is why it comes in like 2 variant sizes. I think it's like what? I think it's 128 and 256 or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. But
Yeah.
my understanding is that out of all of the headsets that exists, Sony's, which is the PSVR, has sold the most. I think it's like 2.2 million. And I think that was like it was 2019. So I'm fairly certain that's one of the most recent numbers that I've found. Followed by a close running second between both the Oculus and the Oculus Rift and the HTC Vive. And then there's Microsoft's augmented reality headset, which can be used for a number of different things, but is not very popular. And then there's Valve's Index, which is both the most expensive headset at $1,000 and the most underpurchased headset because it's $1,000. But the baseline is that, like, so there are a total of 4 different versions of the Oculus. There's the Oculus Rift, which is the first generation, which requires 2 separate sensor bars as well as the headset and 2 controllers. If you want touch, or if you're simply just playing it to play it with a normal controller, it can be used with a normal controller. There's the new Rift S, which is the 2nd generation headset. It has all of its sensors built into the head, in the actual head unit, so it doesn't actually need additional sensor bars, which vastly improved its ability to actually be used much more effectively. There's the Quest, which is of course the wireless, and then there's the Go, which is the one that allows use of cell phones. So while Oculus has a solid market share, it's probably the biggest selling of the PC headsets, only next to the HTC Vive. And the only reason the Vive tends to sell more, in general, like, they run pretty much neck and neck from what I can tell. Like, I don't have any real definitive numbers, but I do know that both the Quest and the Vive tend to sell around the same amount. The only reason the Vive tends to be a bit more popular, it has worse controllers, but its ability for full motion or full body tracking is much more desired over what you can get with the Oculus, which only supports hands and head, and requires a secondary third-party device.
Like a camera or something.
Well, the Kinect most likely is the general thing that people go for the most because it's both the cheapest and the easiest to set up on your PC. But yeah, like that is where it's at. But I feel like the big deal here is that Facebook has decided that they are going to take a more hands-on approach with everything gaming. Be it Facebook gaming, be it Oculus, be it whatever else it is that they're talking about. As a base aside, I did also see an article that was talking about how Facebook gaming is talking like they're not trying to force people to use Facebook gaming to stream, but they are saying we're being the nicest about it. And I'm like, motherfucker, you're forcing people to do shit with Facebook gaming. Like, excuse me? This is just another step in that process where they're basically saying we're not going to be passive about this income. We're not going to be passive about what we think people are passionate about because Facebook. They look at the ad numbers, they look at what people are looking at. I'll be real honest. Part of it, I feel, is because of this big VTuber boom. Like, being virtual and being an online, like, presence, but being, virtual without having to worry about being in front of an actual camera, but having an actual 3D model is something that is really intriguing to a lot of people, and all of a sudden has just become this huge moneymaker for people. And Facebook is like, we're gonna roll with this punch, because if we don't, we're gonna miss another boat, and we're not okay with that. And I feel like that is part of the reason why they're responding so heavily to the use of Oculus Rift, and why it is all of a sudden that Oculus is something that they really want to focus a lot of attention on, because if they're going to be hands-on, then obviously they want people to use the Facebook platform for everything.
The way I see it, it's just like, again, you said what, like 600,000 people have bought the Oculus?
Mm-hmm.
So
400,000 had bought the Quest, just the Quest alone. They've
Right.
sold over $100 million worth of product. So that's more than 400,000 headsets, I'm sure.
So wait, is the Facebook forced integration with both models or just the Quest?
It's with anything Oculus.
Okay.
So
Anything
any
Oculus,
Oculus headset that you use your account on, you would have to link it with Facebook.
Yeah.
Let's say that like 1 million is probably not an unreasonable number to assume here.
Okay.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah. I would say, what would you think it would take, though, to get the Oculus team and Facebook team to flip back on that decision? Like, would you say half of the people to stop using their Oculus or sell it or do whatever will make them reverse their decision of the forced integration? Or do you think this is going to be here to stay?
Being Facebook, I think they're just going to do it and not care
Okay.
what people think. It's Facebook. That's what they always do.
Yeah.
Because what are you going to do? Not use Facebook? Like too many people just look past it and don't care. I feel like that's going to be a really hard sell with the market that would be buying an Oculus headset, though, because most people who are buying a VR headset are probably pretty technically savvy and aren't going to just say, "Yeah, that's fine. I'll just use a Facebook account." They'll either say, when I upgrade my headset, I'm going to buy a different one, or I'm just going to get rid of this one and get a new one right now, or move on from VR entirely.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Because there's the group that hates Facebook is like adamantly against Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just I don't really like them. It is I hate everything about them, and I will not use
who hate
anything
Facebook.
about
Ironically,
them. No, they truly hate it.
Oh no, this is an actual frothing hate. See, I think my biggest problem with this is that Oculus is the cheapest of the headsets. Period.
Mm-hmm.
If you look on pricing for anything VR, Oculus is the cheapest one to go with. The Rift S generally goes for the lowest amount. It's $399. That's hella entry level, but it's good exactly for what it needs to be for. And if you're using it for VR chat, if you're using it for basic VR games, if you want to have games that are popular within the VR space, the Rift S or the Quest is the way to go. You know, you're paying $400 to $600 for a headset. The Vive generally runs $500. It's $499. Then you've got the Index, which runs $1,000, and then you've got the PSVR headset, which apparently can actually be used on PC if you. I think there's like a specific trick that you can use to like do something with the USB to trick it to think that it's actually plugged into a PlayStation when it's plugged into your PC, which is very cheap.
mm-hmm.
And it's what I think I want to say it's $499 also. Maybe it's $599. I don't remember, because you also have to get the camera and the PlayStation Move controllers and stuff like that. But
I think it's a little lower than that. I'll Google it real quick.
Facebook needs to track all the sweet VR porn stats. I would.
I was going to make a
$350 for
porn
full
joke
pack.
somewhere, but you beat me to it, Jan.
I mean, that's fair. Gon said it in chat, but it's fine.
Yeah. So it looks like the
Yeah, so
PlayStation VR I'm seeing directly
my
from
thing is,
PlayStation is $350 with
I don't
with
feel like that's a joke,
everything.
honestly.
No.
Well, I don't think it's a joke either. I'm
a sad
damn
truth,
positive
really.
you do it, but it's decided. Yeah, exactly. But like on a baseline, if you know you're going to be doing a lot of stuff with PS4 and obviously PS5 because we know that it's going to be compatible, and you want to do VR with your PlayStation, that's great. That's perfectly fine because Beat Saber exists on both PC and PS4. So why wouldn't you? But when it really comes down to it, the Oculus is like the entry level VR headset for PC. It just is. It always has been. I'm pretty positive it always will be. The affordable nature of $400 to get that, which let's be honest, that is the price of a console. It becomes evident that when all of a sudden something that has been the cheapest way to be able to get into things without having to worry about spending $500, $600, $700, $800, almost close to $1,000 to do what you want to do, like full on. If you're invested in the VR technology with the Vive and the full body trackers, it's the way to go. But then be told, hey, yeah, if you buy this new thing, you're going to have to actually, link it to Facebook. What if I don't want a Facebook account? What if I don't want you worrying about these ads that are all of a sudden like popping up on my computer that I don't care about? So there's,
I think
there's a lot of baseline there that's questionable.
Yeah, I think Facebook is generally just trying to get in under the same principle that they've been working as an association account for a while now, where like we've kind of sort of, for a lot of the marketplace, taken it for granted that there are services or websites or things of that nature where instead of creating your own LinkedIn, you just do a single sign-on with your Facebook account.
Right.
You just like go to, I don't know, DoorDash, and they're like, one of the first things they say is, well, do you want to just sign in with your Facebook account? You go on to like maybe like a dating app, and it just goes, well, do you want to just sign in with your Facebook account? And I think Facebook is kind of taking it for granted that by creating this sort of integration, like, you know, they're going to be fine because, oh well, everything else uses it. And I don't think they really understand who it is that owns a VR headset, and like that these aren't the same people that are playing like games on freaking, you know, the iOS apps or like, you know, Google Play apps, and going to just like tie it across like that. I think that like they are making the assumption that the general user base is the people buying the VR headsets, and not sort of realizing that the people who own a VR headset are like heavier tech users than most. And I think they're probably, as you know, as you said, that they're just going to do it. They're not going to give a shit. They're just going to be like, well, whatever, who cares? I'm not going to be bothered like trying to fix the situation in any meaningful way. I'm just going to shrug and go, well, whatever. Like, if people don't want to use it, then I'm just going to freaking lose all of that money until we get a market share of users who do. Facebook is willing to throw that money away because they have a ton of money to throw away.
Please sign into your Pornhub premium account with your Facebook account.
I don't think they do that.
No.
I don't know.
But
Probably
it would be funny if that was a thing.
I don't use Pornhub enough to know if they have Facebook integration. I got to be honest with you.
I'd still think it'd be funny if it did someday.
I mean, yes and no, but at the same time, it's like the thought of Facebook, like, I don't know. I ingest way too much fucking cyberpunk media for me to not look at that and basically be like, ah, yes, Shadowrun is a thing. Thanks, I hate it.
Oh yeah, like of all the things that I look at and I go, you know, I don't care if Mark Zuckerberg knows this about me. I don't want Mark Zuckerberg knowing like my sexual fetishes. Thank you.
Right. I mean,
Because I'm pretty sure that he doesn't. I'm pretty sure he doesn't understand like what sex is in the strictest sense of things. And, like, I don't want him using me as like a fucking example of like what to learn about anything.
Yeah, Robo Zuck has no idea what sex is as a concept.
He looks
a missionary. Oh no.
Is this missionary?
That's awful food. But no, like, okay, so and again, this is it all harkens back to that joke of like welcome to your prime house, prime citizen, because you know we're all gonna be overrun by Amazon at some point. But you know, at the same time, it's like, yeah, because you know we're just gonna head back to the Facebook arcology. Fuck me.
Right.
It's just where it's headed. We're at a point now where the rich dictate what the not rich do and see and ingest, and it's like, good. This is where we're actually heading. And if this is something that you can't take it, then like, well, I guess you're fucked, because they don't give you the choice to not. And by saying that all of this is going to be integrated into an SSO specifically for the use of the piece of technology that you paid, you know, $500 to $1,000 to utilize for your entertainment purposes, that's just your shit out of luck. You know, you might as well just, you know, eat the fucking thing like cake, because that's about all you're going to get out of it at that point if you're not going to do it. And you know, the same thing can be said about other pieces of technology in your home that could also be linked in the same way, but are linked in ways that make sense based on the actual device that you're using. You get a Switch, you log into a Nintendo account. You get a PlayStation, you sign into a PlayStation account. The problem here is not the concept of what SSO actually is, and more just the SSO of who it is that we're getting it from. In this case, Facebook. It becomes more controversial, I feel, because of what it is and what they I don't want to say accused, because we know that it's true, but at the same time nothing's ever really been set for legal precedent behind it. But like, we know what they do. We know how ads are generated. Okay, ad media exists because of what you say and how you click things. Your cell phone, as a baseline, is always listening to you. And the moment you start talking about shit, like, okay, so for the last, what, I don't know, half hour, we've been talking about fucking Facebook. I guarantee you the first thing I'm going to see is going to be a fucking Facebook ad on my phone once we're done with the show. Like, that's just what it's going to do. It's just going to do it. Because that's what it does. It learns what you say, and you could repeat the same thing. Like, if I wanted to say llama blankets, and I said that for the next 10 minutes, I would start getting ads for fucking llama wool fucking blankets in my email and on my fucking, like, Facebook and on Twitter. Like, it's just gonna happen. But that's how ad media is generated. And I feel like the biggest issue here isn't a matter of, like, always getting ads for tentacles. Ah, thanks. Well, that's fine, I guess. But at the same time, it's like,
I'm not judging.
Out loud.
Out loud, yeah, exactly. I think my phone was... okay, yes. Sure. We'll let you keep thinking that, Gon. It's fine. But,
whatever you say.
Yeah, so the concept of the SSO isn't foreign to us because we use it for fucking Google for fucking everything. Let's just be honest here. If you have Drive, you SSO into Google. That's just what you do. But the concept of doing an SSO that's associated with Facebook, I feel like that's why it's controversial. That's why it's hitting so hard, because we're like, we don't like Facebook as a medium. But the only way for us to be able to continue to use this piece of technology that has been free of us having to do this specific single sign-on is why people are upset about it now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see Facebook backing down from this, because again, it's Facebook, and they're just going to say, don't like it, too bad.
What are you going to do, buy an index?
Well, I mean, that's an option. You can
Bring
buy
back
other
MySpace.
headsets. You will have to spend more money, but that's an option, is to buy other headsets. Or some of these other headset companies can jump in now and say, hey, guess what? You don't have to use Facebook on ours, and we're going to knock $100 off the price. Come on over.
Yeah.
Come join us. It's way better. Is this the end of Oculus? Are they going to start on a downward slope and just die because of Facebook?
If the price wasn't so cheap, maybe, but the price point alone will keep people using the Oculus regardless of Facebook or not.
Even if someone else came in with like a similar price, maybe it's $50 more for like a Vive.
It'd be a hard sell. A lot of the problems that people have with the HTC Vive is that the controllers are absolutely trash. And the reason why the Oculus has done as well as it has is because the Oculus Touch controllers are fantastic, especially the new generation that came out with the Rift S and the Quest. The changes in both the touch technology and the actual like sensitivity is far better than what the HTC does. Plus, the HTC touchpads that are associated with those controllers fail way too much. Unless HTC decides to actually update the controllers in the next generation of headset, while the HTC has better, visual quality, the controllers are still far above and beyond what people are more interested in actually having, and why the Oculus does as well as it does technology-wise. So, I mean, unless you're basically telling me that I can get a full bundle for full body tracking with an HTC for the same cost as, the top end Quest, which I think is, $599. If you can sell me on a Vive for $600, that includes 2 fucking full body sensors, a headset, and 2 functioning controllers that won't break without touchpads, then yes, maybe I'd swap. But right now, I don't think so. I think Oculus is still going to have a big stranglehold on price point alone.
Gotcha. All right. Well, does anybody else have anything on this gross mess?
No.
I'll take that as a no from Hum.
I'm going to take that as a no.
No.
Seems like a no. Well, that's a little bit of a mess that people are not super happy about.
Just a little.
Well, compared to this next mess, it's a pretty small one. There's a huge mess going on with Fortnite. Specifically, Epic and Apple and Google are all in a little bit of a fight right here. So I'll try my best to give like a too long didn't read version of this, and then we'll get, opinions, thoughts, all that fun stuff. So if you own an iPhone, the only place you can get apps is the Apple App Store. It's the only place to get them. So Epic obviously makes Fortnite, and in Fortnite, it is a free game. They make their money when you buy cosmetic items and their in-game currency called V-Bucks. Whenever anyone would buy V-Bucks on the iPhone or on Google, Google or Apple would take a cut of that sale. Apple specifically takes 30% of every sale made in those applications. The problem was, if you download an app, let's use Amazon for example, because we've talked about that already today, and I go there and I buy a t-shirt for $15, Apple doesn't take 30% of that. They're only taking 30% of digital sales. Well, Epic didn't like that, so they just decided we're going to use the same workaround system that things like Amazon and every other place that we can shop where they don't take a cut, and we're just going to do that ourselves. We're just going to do it whether Apple says we can or not, which caused Apple to remove them from the App Store, which immediately turned into, we are suing you. So that's a pretty big deal. Now, apparently Apple has done some other things, which they removed it from the App Store, like I said, and they're starting to kind of like threaten Epic to where they won't have access to developer tools anymore to be able to even make apps for the iPhone. So now Epic has it sounds so weird to me saying this about these companies, is looking for a restraining order against Apple. Their main argument is Apple has a monopoly on where you can download apps and where you can buy apps, so they don't have an option to say, no, we will not let you take 30% of our sales. We need to negotiate that, or you're not going to get anything at all, because if they don't agree, they just don't have their app on the iPhone. And, I mean, what are you going to do? Just not have your app on the iPhone? Like, that's a huge, huge user base you're missing out on. So they're now taking Apple and Google to court over them having monopolies, essentially. And from what I've seen, they don't want any financial compensation for this. They're trying to get policies changed, which isn't going to happen at an Apple level. It's going to have to happen at a legal level, and they're going to want laws made and changed.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot to unpack here, I think, and a lot going on. But what do you guys think about this?
Well, the first thing I noticed is that, like, I think Apple was in the right, because what Epic did was they found a shady workaround in order to keep all the profits for, their in-app purchases. They pretty much went out of their way to breach their TOS with Apple, and instead of giving them their 30% due for, all the microtransactions that they're getting away with, they're pretty much giving them the middle finger. And this is kind of like almost similar to like how Epic was when they left Steam and started off their own store. They didn't like the fact that there was a 70-30 thing going on with the sales going between developer and with Steam. So they went and said, you know what, we're going to do this, we're going to do something better. We're going to do like 80-20 or split with our own store. And but you can't exactly do that on a mobile platform like Apple, like with the iPads or the iPhones, because, well, again, Apple is kind of being like Nintendo in the early 90s, late 80s, where you have to have permission to get a license from them to put your product on their system. So, like, it's Atari. They didn't they weren't allowed to publish their games on the NES, so their workaround was to pirate their games under the name of Tengen. So, and that's kind of like what Epic had to do in the sense that, you know, their workaround to get their DLC. So they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar, and they were rightfully slapped by Apple in that regards. But Apple is pretty much being a bully in regards to how they're controlling a marketplace that really is it's like, it's not giving anybody else a chance to, like, me, you know, make any money. I mean, hell, you go onto an Android device, you don't have to go to the Play Store to get your apps. There's other things you can download in order to get your apps.
Right.
So
I think too, like, to touch on the first thing you said of Apple being right to remove them. I mean, yeah, they broke the terms of service. I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
I think Epic knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Oh, they already had a fucking video planned. Like,
yeah, like they had that video
they made
planned.
the fucking video and everything. Yeah.
They had the lawsuit written and already in the mail on its way to Apple when they did all this. So this was, you know, 50-50 shot of either this works out and we keep the money, or it works out, they kick us off and we take them to court.
Mm-hmm. Now, Apple is absolutely going completely overboard, though, with their reaction now with when it comes to what they're doing with the removing of developer tools. A good chunk of the entire gaming community that, you know, makes apps for, you know, Apple like devices, mobile devices, use the Unreal Engine. So that's a big deal for a lot of these, you know, game developers that are doing games for Macs, for iPads, you know, all that. I think that's absolutely asinine, to be honest.
Here's the thing, though, and this is kind of why I think this is kind of weird, and it's kind of, and it's just kind of how it is that they're trying to portray themselves as the hero, Epic, which we know they're not, because we've seen a lot of contradictions in what they're trying to say. So Tim Sweeney, who is a founder of Epic, tweeted out on the 17th, yesterday, "I'm fighting Apple policies while tweeting on an iPhone. Don't hate the players, hate the game. Apple made a storefront where developers have to bid against each other for searches on their own brands, while blocking other stores from competing with them, all to quote-unquote protect the customers." While somebody else had actually mentioned, oh, hey, so Tim Sweeney put out a secondary tweet that says, let's try searching for Netflix on the App Store. Oops, Netflix isn't the top result because Apple sold top results to TikTok. At least all the text is super readable except the low contrast white on blue white ad label, where somebody else who was a lawyer basically replied with, so let's be clear, it's bad when a company buys up ad space using competitor search keywords. And he's got a picture of Google typing in a search for the Unity engine, and the first thing you find is an ad for the Unreal Engine. Tim Sweeney then snaps back with if we don't fight for our rights where we stand, we'll eventually run out of places to retreat to, and by then we'll be too weak and divided to win. This is why developers need to fight the store monopolies here and now. Oh, like you're doing with the Epic Games Store. Here's a really good idea. Stop punching yourself in the dick and then going to other people and telling them, oh man, I keep getting punched in the dick. That's not how this works. Epic made a poor decision to pull their own ability to basically say, hey, if you want to buy V-Bucks directly from us and you don't want to pay the man, pay us more money by giving us all 100% instead of us getting the cut. Oh, but it's okay if we steal first person, or not first person, if we steal exclusivity rights for PC games because we're not doing the same thing.
Like, here's my thing. All right. The Apple conversation and the Google conversation are somewhat different conversations.
Mm-hmm.
The Apple conversation, I think, is the one that's more meritorious on a few different levels. Not the least of which being that, yeah, Apple is kind of doubling down on everything, and basically it's getting to be like a massive dick waving contest between Epic and Apple as far as that goes, because each side is unwilling to back down, and each side is sort of escalating things absurdly. and you can tell that like Epic very much thinks that this is an Apple argument, and that they have much more interest in the Apple side of things because they didn't release an advertisement against Google. Here's the thing: the Google case on its face is completely unmeritorious. There is no merit to this case, and Epic is going to absolutely get their fucking dick stomped into the dirt when going up against Alphabet Corporation. That's just fucking how it is. Let us. If anybody tells you that there is any merit to that case, they are just wrong. They are objectively, scientifically wrong.
Yep.
The argument against Apple at the bare minimum is that Apple does prevent the end user from being able to sideload applications without like sort of jailbreaking or rooting their device, which makes it difficult for you to get an application installed onto the device if it's not hosted on the Apple Store. Now,
Exactly.
we can have a discussion about the value of having things on the Apple Store, but let's be clear, from the end user perspective, having stuff on the store provided by the manufacturer of the operating system essentially says this application is shown to work, it's free of viruses, it's reasonably secure, etc., etc. So it gives a sort of implicit, this app is okay value to it. By not having your app listed on that store, that sort of dings you to a certain extent as the person hosting your application. But on the Android system, fucking developers do that all the time. You know, Amazon has their own storefront that you can download and install. Kuo app has its own storefront that you can just download the APK for and install.
Love Kuo app.
Yeah, so you can absolutely install Fortnite on a Android device.
If Epic was smart enough, which let's be honest, they're not. They could simply just put the APK up on fucking Epic Game Store, download it to your PC, copy it over to your phone, and now you have a Android version of Fortnite without having to use the App Store and without having to use your Google account, and you're just using your Epic account to log into that version of Fortnite, and all of the money goes directly to Epic. But they're not.
Let's be clear.
And they don't.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear. This isn't a matter of intellectual rigor in that sense. They're doing this. They're doing this very much on purpose.
Oh, absolutely.
Like they know that they could put their shit up on the Epic Store, or they could put it up on Kuo app, they could put it up on the Amazon store front, and get Fortnite, and have somebody install Fortnite onto all of these different things. You know? They know that they could do that. They absolutely do.
Isn't that how you had to install it in the first place on Android?
I don't think so.
It wasn't on the Google Play Store initially.
It wasn't, but the Android version of itself was only available. You had to click a link on your phone, and then it sent you to a website that linked to Google Play, but it wasn't like an actual listing on the Play Store until like 6 weeks later. Or sometime
I thought you had to sideload an APK for it still.
No. When it first came out, yes, but it was done in a weird way that still linked it to the Play Store, but it wasn't like a direct... Like, you couldn't search for it, but it still linked it back to the Google account.
Gotcha.
Whereas now you can simply just look it up on the Play Store and it should... Well, not now, but...
Well, you could.
You could. But so, and I feel like that sort of inherently is where the big core of the problem of this whole thing comes from. If you're trying to do this with Apple, you're going to have a bad time because, as you said before, it's impossible to sideload without jailbreaking your device. However, with an Android, since Android is an open source operating system, anybody can develop an app for it, put it up, and it eventually ends up on the Play Store because it's still a Google project, but it's still open source. This is a big also reason why you can emulate the Android operating system and you can't emulate the iOS operating system.
Right. So what you essentially come into here is a case where they're coming to Google and like they're going to court and they're saying, well, Alphabet Corporation is preventing us from listing our application on their sales platform and not taking a cut of our money. Like the court's just going to look at them and go, yeah, you want to fucking list it on their sales platform, you fucking dickheads. They're going to take fucking money for it. Like you can't fucking sell fucking fork knife at Best Buy without Best Buy taking a certain degree of profit from you selling it at Best Buy. You can't fucking sell fork knife on Amazon and not have a certain amount of money go to Amazon as a retailer. Like, I don't understand what the fuck you're thinking here. Like, yes, you can create a storefront on the PC and just sell your own products. Guess what? You can fucking do that on Android too. If your specific argument is that it's more complicated to have that sort of thing, in the first place, no, not really. It's not fucking hard to install an APK of an app. Like, people can do it.
I mean,
but further to the point, like even if it's like, you know, like a little bit more complicated than just using the default shit. Okay. Do we remember when like people tried to take Microsoft to court for integrating Internet Explorer into Windows?
Yeah.
Do we remember how that went?
Very poorly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess not well.
Right. So, like, literally, the court's just going to be like, dude, fuck off. All you're literally saying is, well, we want to be able to list the stuff on this storefront, but we don't want to have to pay them any money for listing it there. And, like, the court's just going to be like, yeah, fucking sit on it and spin, you fucking morons. You're not going to get that. The Apple case, at the very least, has the veneer of, well, there's no other way to get it but via the Apple store. But in the case of Google, like, let's be clear, there is, in the Apple case, they're probably going to go a reasonable amount of distance as far as, like, getting their shit over before the Epic Corporation gets their pants pulled all the way down. But, like, with the Google situation, like, from the word go, they're tripping over their own dick. There is not a point where this is a legitimate case. They've got fucking nothing. And to the fact that they are specifically focusing on the Apple case in their marketing of it and everything of that nature should pretty much tell you that they themselves know that the fucking Google case is fucking clown shoes. They're going to get fucking nothing. They're going to get fucking laughed out of court. They're not even going to get a settlement because Alphabet's just going to fucking, like, settle on these fucking nuts, and that's what it's going to go to. Yep. You know, they're going to get nothing on a Google suit. They will be lucky if it gets thrown out before it goes to any sort of actual action. Because if it actually goes anywhere, they're going to get fucking countersued and they're going to get fucked into oblivion. I don't think Tencent has enough money to bail Epic out. And I want to be crystal fucking clear here. This is
fucking close.
Tencent. This is a Tencent backed action. Let's just call it what it is, okay?
Absolutely.
Tencent specifically went to Epic because they basically own Epic, and they said, you're going to fucking do this. And Epic's like, okay, because they don't, they have no fucking balls at this point. They exist as a fucking subsidiary arm of Tencent. So they went in, and they're like, well, we're going to do this because, you know, Daddy Tencent told us to do this. And so it's very much a case of Tencent going to war with Apple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think, like, I almost feel like they would have to, they're having to keep the Google suit going to keep the Apple one going. You know what I mean?
I mean, they don't really. Like, I understand why they would probably do it to a certain extent, but they could basically just say, look, it's a different situation between the Google suit and the Apple suit. We're not going to be bothered with the Google suit because we can, at the very least, just give you access. They can just give you access to the APK in other ways. They could literally say, like, the issue that we're having is that we have no other option for how to list this application on Apple except for the Apple Store. We have alternatives on Google, so we're going to use those alternatives. The fact that they even bothered to make the Google suit, like, I don't even know why they fucking did it, frankly. Like,
Yeah.
Well, so a lot of it had to do with the fact that Google. Okay, so my understanding is this is how sort of the progression of everything occurred. Apple found out that Epic made the decision to bypass Apple's TOS to allow for people to purchase directly through Epic versus Apple Pay to bypass the 30% that Apple takes as a cut from any transactions of anything on the App Store. Now, this is the same percentage that Google takes as well. So both Apple and Google take 30% of any purchases done through either Apple's App Store or Google's, Play Store. Period. That's just a baseline that ends up happening and is sort of how that functions. The baseline is that when all of this started, Epic made the decision to publicly say, hey, by the way, if you want to buy your V-Bucks directly through us instead of through Apple, you can do that now. Simply choose this when making your payment, and it will do so. Apple caught wind of it and said, you can't do that. That's against the terms of service that you agreed to when you initially allowed us to finalize the contract with you to sell microtransactions through your game on our platform. If you are going to continue to do that, we will allow you to continue to use this on our platform. You just can't have it listed on the App Store anymore. Epic then said, we don't like that. We still want it there. Apple said, that's not how this works. That's not how a contract works. And Epic retaliated within 24 hours with the 1984 video.
Yeah, the 1984 video very much proves that Epic absolutely fucking knew what they were doing and had been planning the shit in advance. Because
100%.
like you don't have that idea and instantly have that rendered.
You don't have that in your pocket within 24 hours.
Yeah, like
you don't.
in an hour.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Also, is it just me or was that like the corniest fucking shit?
Oh, it was so bad. It was awful.
Like, I'm like, what? I just saw that and like, I need you to understand, I am 41 years old, okay? I am 30 or 40 years old, and I do not fucking need this. But I fucking saw that ad come up, I watched it from beginning to end, and at my age, the entirety of the thought that I had was literally just, okay, boomer.
Fucking good. Fucking good. So all of this happens, okay? And Google of all peoples are like, hey, Epic, I see that you did this with Apple. Did you do that with us? And they go, yeah, we did. And they go, oh, well, you can't, right? And Epic's are like, well, we did, so what are you going to do about it? And Google said, we're just going to not have you on the App Store anymore. And they're like, well, you can't do that. And they go, well, what did Apple say? And this is basically, well, what did mom say? Well, go talk to dad. Well, what did dad say? Well, we'll go talk to mom. That's exactly what the situation is. Apple basically told Epic you can't do that because that's a breach of terms of service. We're pulling the app until you decide to change it. Epic said, I'm not gonna. Google came back to them and said, hey, you can't do that. It's a breach of our terms of service. And Epic said, well, I'm not going to change my mind. You can't make me do that. I'm the adult here now. I can do what I want. And well, both of these companies have basically told Epic, well, look, we don't care that you're doing this. However, now you've taken it a little bit too far. And by having that video, see, like, honestly, this could have not been as big as it is had they not done that video. Like, just plain and simple. If they had not done that retaliatory PR video, this would not have blown out of proportion.
I actually haven't seen the PR video yet. Can someone link me to it so I can watch it later?
I'm sure it's somewhere on YouTube. But yeah,
see if I can find it.
Yeah, we'll take a look for it. But the baseline ends up being that now, because of this video, Apple is countersuing. And they're basically saying, hey, look, we're trying to be adults about this, but if we know that you're toxic, and we're trying to not have you be toxic, so could you maybe not be toxic? And of course, Epic's are like, well, fuck you. And Apple pretty much was like, well, if you're not going to stop being toxic, then, well, we're just going to block your access to the Apple dev tools. So I'd like to point out that through all of this, everyone has blown it to the side of, well, Unreal isn't going to be available for people developing on the Apple platform. Guess what? That's not the case. It's Epic isn't going to be able to have access to the Apple tools to provide anything that Epic makes allowed on the Apple platform, not the other way around. Developers will still have access to the Unreal Engine, and the Unreal Engine will still be able to be used for applications on the App Store for both the Mac OS and iOS platforms. Epic has stated that that is not the case. Apple has stated that it is. That is the conundrum we are now facing. Epic is suing Apple for and has a restraining order request in place to have them not remove their developer tools access, as they feel, mind you, they feel that they will not allow other developers to be able to use the Unreal Engine on Apple platforms, which is actually not the case. That is why this is blown out of proportion, because people don't get that part of it. And that's why it's funny, and why I think Epic is just gonna end up getting shit on by both companies. Though I feel like we know what happens with the Google, because we've already talked about it. But honestly, even if the Apple side of it goes to court, which we know it won't because it'll get settled outside of it, but the baseline is this now sets a precedent for other people to basically go, Android really is looking a lot nicer now.
Yeah, and I mean, like, the thing to keep in mind here also, I don't think either side actually wants to find out what happens if this goes to court.
Absolutely not.
Like, that is a major problem with the video game industry as a collective whole. There will always be this sort of, like, dick waving and posturing of people sort of being like, you know, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, blah blah blah. Nobody actually wants to have anything legally codified if they can avoid it, because not only is it the very real case of I might get fucked and lose here, but more interestingly, for the purposes of this exercise, there's sort of the revelation that also kind of comes out of it, where it very much restricts what you can and cannot do, even if you win. Like court cases very much sort of give you a direct understanding of the legality of the thing you have chosen to do or not do, as the case might be. And if you don't have that sort of stuff legally documented, you can just kind of do whatever, and like nobody's going to stop you. So the moment that you codify these specific things in writing in a legal setting, you're basically dictating the terms of what you can and can't do, and very specifically establishing what is and isn't illegal. Exactly. Neither Epic nor Apple nor Tencent want anything to do with any of that.
No.
They want everything to kind of keep being the Wild West for as long as it can possibly be.
Mm-hmm.
So I absolutely don't see this going anywhere. Like it's just a big dick waving contest, and we're just going to see who blinks first. And I think to a certain extent, like it's very much motivated by, and I don't want this to fucking be like a racial thing, so let us absolutely not make this a racial thing, please. But I think it's absolutely motivated by, you know, a certain degree of like governmental dick waving between the U.S. and China.
Oh, 100%. Like, it's all political at this point, and Epic is basically trying, like, and like I said before, Epic is trying to be the hero of their own story, which we know isn't the case here. And, you know, all they're doing is tantamount to basically just a giant fucking temper tantrum that, oh no, I can't make more money off of all the gamers because I can't make all the money because they have to give it to the other people that make the operating system. Shut the fuck up. If that's really the problem, then make your own fucking OS. Distribute your own games on your own platform that don't require people to have to worry about a specific device. Oh, wait, you don't know how to do that because you're babies.
Mm-hmm.
it's like there are ways of making this functionally work for them, and they know that, but they don't care because they don't want to have to take the hard way. All they want to do is basically put themselves into a position where they feel like they're going to break some sort of fucking mold and make some sort of change by basically going up against the quote unquote giants of the, the mobile industry, which is what, Apple and Google. Well, here's the problem. Google's going to kick you into the dirt, and Apple's basically going to piss on you. Like, that's just all that's going to happen here. It's not actually going to be a court case, and if it does, Tencent's going to lose their fucking mind. Let's be real honest with that. Epic's going to end up being on the absolute amount of shit lists of just about anybody that you can think of at this point. And honestly, all it's really going to do is just sour Epic to more people, which, let's be honest, that's not hard to do. But I don't know. I feel like maybe in the long run, we might see some changes. But I don't know that they're going to be A, changes in favor of Epic, and B, changes that are going to amount to a whole hell of a lot right now, since I'll be real fucking honest. It is way easier to develop for the Android operating system than it ever has been for the the iOS or the Mac OS operating systems, because Apple makes it really fucking hard for you to be able to do that, because you have to have their developer tools, you have to have their developer kits. Whereas with Android, you pretty much just need to know how to do fucking Python and understand how to export to an APK file so that it's supported by the device. But, what do I know?
Right. Oh, man. This can go so many ways, though. Like, just so many things can happen with this. And I feel like it's going to be another one of those situations where if it does end up in court, it's going to be like the time that Zuckerberg was in front of wherever he was in front. Was he in front of Congress a while ago? And they were all just asking the dumbest questions possible about technology. And he was just kind of like, what the fuck did you just say to me? That was so stupid. I didn't even understand it. And now we're going to have, you buy this thing.
Series of tubes.
Yeah, like you buy this item, but you never get the item. I don't understand what's happening here, and no one's gonna know how to take care of this.
Well,
so,
and I think it's the funny. This is sort of an aside, but it's still it speaks to the understanding of what certain people have when it comes to what it is that we are dealing with this technology, that the people who are the ones in charge talk about an issue about somebody making a disparaging comment on Twitter to the guy who runs Facebook. Like, come on, guys. It's not hard to just do like 10 fucking seconds of research. Like, that's what the internet is fucking for. But if you're that old, ooh, internet fucking scary. Boo.
Yeah, like, I mean,
you probably don't even know how to Google it.
We live in an amazing fucking time. If you don't know the answer to something, just fucking Google it.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have infinite information at your fingertips.
Working at a supermarket, it's hilarious, the number of people that walk up to me and ask me how to cook a steak.
I mean, just Google it, man.
Yeah,
Give
my favorite website is Let Me Google That For You.
Yeah,
Love
don't
that
you guys
website.
have phones?
Yes. Avenue Q has
Blizzard
taught us,
reminded
Gone,
us.
that the internet is for porn.
So grab your dick and double click for porn.
Great musical. Love
Fucking
Avenue Q.
God damn it. Every time I'm reminded of that fucking musical, I go back and I like fucking rewatch it. It's so fucking good.
That was the last musical I did in college.
Nice.
I
It was the
wanna
last
say-
show I teched.
Like somebody that I know, I don't remember who it is. I want to say it's Mallet, but I could be wrong there. Was basically like bagging on Avenue Q for some reason or another, and I don't remember who it was or why.
I mean, if you don't like it, it's not for everyone.
Oh no, it's the same thing as like Hamilton. I get that. And it's not for everyone. Though I'll be real honest, the Hamilton community is toxic as fuck, but what are you gonna do?
Right.
I mean, most communities are toxic as fuck because the internet is terrible. But
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
The
Once you
internet was
get
a
too
mistake.
deep into a fandom, it's bad no matter what, you know.
I mean, Steven Universe is a nice, comforting show, but holy fuck.
don't even get me
Anyway.
started on the fucking Mega 10 community. Jesus Christ.
I know. I know.
So, does anybody have any, like final closing thoughts on Epic, Apple, Google? Or is anything gonna happen, or are we just they're all gonna go, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you? Okay, well, I guess we're done.
At the end of the day, I just see this as an excuse for Epic Mega Games to enter another market that they have no business being in. So, coming to you in 2022, ladies and gentlemen, get your Epic Mega Games like handheld mobile devices.
Made by Huawei.
Made by Huawei. Fuck
Yeah,
you.
made by Huawei, so it'll never see the light of day.
I mean, if you've caught anything recently in the news, I'm sure it'll just be on the fucking Alienware UFO.
I guess that's possible. There are like gaming phones that I guess I could see them being like, hey,
I mean, Razer,
you want a backer?
I mean, Sony
Razer
had their.
and Asus.
I mean, Sony attempted that with the Xperion.
No.
What was the one that I'm thinking of? Maybe this is I'm gonna Google one thing and hope Nubia.
Oh yeah.
Nubia Red Magic. That has been within the last 5 months popping up. So I don't know who that is, and I worked in the phone industry for 4 years, and I don't even know what that is.
It was a Verizon specific phone.
That doesn't surprise me.
So Verizon made a deal with this company to make a gaming phone that was going to be in this. Okay, so imagine the N-Gage with less buttons, but also less games than the fucking Nintendo Game Boy.
Oh well, this is just an Android device.
Yes,
that would play Android games. It's
Okay,
just like
yep,
supposed to be,
but it
beefy.
was built in a way that it could play games like Fortnite and CS and fucking Call of Duty Mobile without any real lag. Like it was built to be the gaming phone. Except for the fact that the Razer phone is still fucking better. The second gen whooped the shit out of that fucking thing. It was only supported by fucking Verizon. It was only supported if you had a very specific data plan with Verizon. Oh, and did I mention that thing used to cost like $800?
Oh no, this is something. This has got to be different then, because this was a month ago. I was seeing videos about this phone coming out.
They made a new one? Fuck me.
Yeah, no, yeah, this is something different. They don't have specific data plan, that kind of shit anymore. So yeah, this is the Red Magic 5G. It's an Android device.
This is a new one. Yeah, this is
that's just like overpowered as all sin.
That is an ugly case, by the way.
And the ROG Phone 2 is still a better phone overall for compatibility.
Right. So I could see, though, like, if that's what Epic's plan is, getting in touch with this company and being like, hey, you guys want somebody that has a lot more money than you to, like, be a backer, and you just put our stuff on there?
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. But I know that
I don't think it would go well, but, you know.
I don't know if you know this or not, but Dell is making a handheld.
Great. That went super well the last time they made Android devices. Those were the best devices.
No. It plays PC games.
Oh, I've seen that thing going around.
Yep. It's called the UFO.
And it's basically
supposed to be a Switch killer.
Yeah, it's like a Windows Switch.
Oh, yeah, the UFO. I thought, that's it's the weird-looking angular device, right? Like with the non-detachable sides.
Yeah. It's like think of it as if it were a Switch Mini, but it's the same size as a full.
Yeah, I actually saw this. They were talking about it actually last year.
Yep.
It's Alienware, not Dell. So
it's Dell, but it's branded Alienware. It's called the UFO. It's supposed to play PC games. It's supposed to be a Switch killer. But let's be honest, nothing can kill the Switch because it's the fucking Switch.
It's already sold over 60 million units.
It's not even out yet.
No, the Switch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is not even out yet. But no, the concept behind it though is that like, great, now I have a portable PC. That's great. That went really fucking well with the fucking Jaguar, didn't it, guys? Nobody
Like-
cares if I can play my PC game on my phone or on a handheld device. If I'm going to play a PC, I'm going to sit down at my fucking computer and play it.
Right.
That's the whole fucking point.
And if you're that
telling me I
worried
gotta-
about taking it on the go, you're probably just going to buy a laptop.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because, I think that would be a much better experience on the go than this little guy.
I'm sure. A 10-inch screen versus a 17-inch laptop that, weighs 5 times the amount. Sure, but let's be honest. Like, PC gaming as a baseline is just, it's always had a strange entry point regardless. So you get something like that, and you try to put something like Epic on the forefront of it, and how well do you think it's really going to do? Like, honestly.
I mean, I don't think it's going to go well. That's just like a possibility of what they might try to do.
Oh, no, for sure. Like, I agree. I feel that on the front side, everything is Epic is trying to be the hero. On the back side, everyone is just laughing at Epic because they're like, you guys are just fucking trying way too goddamn hard. And
Right.
there is no end in sight because they're in it for the money because Papa Tencent says, jump, and they go, I can only jump so high with my dick in your dick in my mouth. So what are you gonna have to do?
Yeah. And look, like we can look at it as if someone looks at it and says like, yeah, well, Epic's here to save us. They're another billion-dollar company. They don't give a shit.
Nope.
Their whole goal is money, not make things better for everyone else.
Exactly.
They're here to serve their Chinese overlords.
I mean, Riot Games.
They are too serving their Chinese overlords.
Well, I mean, they're 100% owned by Tencent, so that's what you're gonna do.
Oh, well, we'll see what happens with this. I don't know. It's like the most interesting story that I want to follow though, because every time I
Oh,
think
for
it
sure.
can't get more ridiculous, it gets more ridiculous. Like whenever they first came out and said, okay, well, it's been removed from the App Store. Well, I see why it happened. Maybe they're gonna have to, say, hey, we're sorry, and then take the lump that they goofed. Oh no, they're suing them. Oh, okay. Oh, they're suing Google. Oh shit. Oh, now they want a restraining order against Apple. What the fuck? So I don't know. I want to see where this goes because it's just interesting,
Into the toilet.
and it doesn't affect me.
Okay, that's actually pretty good. I agree with that one.
Yeah, because I don't want to play Fortnite ever. I don't own an iPhone, so whatever. Like, if you guys want to fight and waste your money, that's fine. I'll watch.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. Honestly, I feel like the long and short of it is Epic is throwing an epic temper tantrum, as they do. Apple and Google, the parents, are like, you're not getting the fucking candy. Put it back. And everyone else is just kind of watching with popcorn going, damn, do you think they're going to actually whoop his ass in the store?
Oh yeah, like
pretty,
I am.
pretty good
I am-
explanation.
I am straight up the Big E eating popcorn gif.
Yeah,
right now.
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
dude. Like,
I'm the Michael Jackson eating popcorn gif right now. Just
No, I'm
Yeah,
the
smile.
Big E gif. Just like
The Big E
fucking
gif,
shoveling
yeah.
the fucking popcorn into my mouth, fucking giggling like an asshole. That's just how it is with me
I'll
right
take
now.
one tray of peas, please. Thank you.
What are the chances that at the very end of all this, after Epic, fails with their lawsuit, Apple or Google turns around and buys Epic from Tencent?
They're not gonna do that.
No way.
Tencent is way too much of a like. Even though they only have 40% of the total share of Epic right now, there's no way that anyone. Let me put it to you this way: no one in their right mind, other than Tencent, has any stake in Epic right now. And after something like this, they definitely won't want any more than what they actually already have at this point. People already shit on EGS as it is. And now we get to worry about what they're doing on the mobile side of things. Like, there's a time and place to pick your battles. This is not one of them.
Right.
And because I'll be real honest, all this is doing is proving to everybody how absolutely money hungry Epic actually is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, there are obviously people that are seeing it as like, well, they're the only ones that can fight Apple, so they're doing it for the good of everyone else. They don't give a shit. They would just want their money. If they happen to help you in the same time, then great.
If anyone wanted to fight Apple, it would be fucking Microsoft. And let's be real honest, they like being able to fight each other. Period.
Yeah,
Even
and I mean, at this
though
point,
I
the only
think-
thing Microsoft has to fight with is xCloud.
Who just got dinked recently for fucking Monopoly? Was that Apple? I think that was Apple. Like
Probably.
Apple just got dinged for a fucking Monopoly suit recently.
They
Saying
did,
that it
yeah.
was- yeah.
Or
saying that it was-
basically for this same kind of thing, but
Yes.
more what's happening with Project xCloud of
Yes.
they're having to like verify every game individually and go through all of this stuff where like Netflix doesn't have to do that for every television show. Why are we doing this for every game? We're not playing the game on your device. I'm streaming it from a streaming service with your device happening to be my screen.
Right, which is why you have to verify the game.
Right.
Like, that's the whole fucking point. I can get Netflix, and okay, so if Netflix didn't have to actually verify everything, you have no idea how much absolute shit would be on that, and nothing good would actually be on the platform because they would never be verified. It would just be some weird B-rated public access video from some dude's basement in the middle of fucking who knows goddamn where, Ohio, basically going, for like fucking 25 minutes. Like,
Well,
that's what you would get.
That's basically like the real world version of Wayne's World. Let's just call that what it is.
Exactly.
Showing.
But that's what would be on Netflix if it wasn't fucking checked. If these people weren't verifying what these programs were supposed to be and solidifying that this was actual content and not just, actual Wayne's World, then fucking you want Wild West. Goddamn, this is fucking medieval goddamn Europe at that point.
I think it's a little different with like what's happening with the whole xCloud thing though, because like they verify what they're putting on Netflix because that's Netflix decides to put that on there. But it's something with Apple that's rejecting the app, even though it's basically the same thing as a Steam Link, where it's a streaming device and you can use the Steam Link on there.
But you own those games. You own those games on Steam, and the Steam Link is simply just it's broadcasting content you already own. You personally, the consumer, own, not the other way around. That's the reason why things like Stadia and xCloud and OnLive haven't done very well. You don't own any of that content. Google
right,
does.
but this is more
And
like
you're borrowing it
specifically
from them.
with this is more specifically Apple not allowing them to be on there.
Right, but see,
They're
thing
not
about
allowing
way
the
Apple, Right, Apple not allowing the app is different because what they're basically saying is, in the case of Fortnite, which is completely different from somebody who's just trying to get an app on the App Store, there's a huge stringency that you have to go through. Like, there's so many fucking pieces of paperwork that you have to fill out to be on the App Store. Some of which means that it has to meet very specific testing guidelines. It has to be able to be available for use on multiple versions of the phone, multiple versions of the operating system, all of these other kind of technical details. But one of the things that you also have to do and that you have to understand is that iOS as a baseline, or the App Store as a baseline, also requires the content to be readily available for Apple consumption without fear of the company who created the game retaliating against Apple if in the event something happens to the App Store and their software gets reverse engineered. And that's a big problem because a lot of people are like, but I just want people to play my game. Yes, but you're using code that can be reverse engineered. It has to be very specifically built. You have to code it this very specific way for iOS or for Mac OS. And if it isn't, or if it doesn't include this code, you're fucked. It won't pass their standards, and you can't put it on the App Store. That is not what is happening with Epic.
Right, that's what I was saying. Is like what they were hit with before is the same issue that's happening with Project xCloud of
Exactly.
you can put
Well,
your app on here, but you have to verify like each game, even though it's not on the device.
Right.
So that was what the other suit they've already been hit with was. So, they're already kind of in not the best
Like
light
Apple
there,
is-
but
But it's Apple, and we already know how that's going to end. Not in court, settled out, and basically it's all just going to be hunky-dory within 6 months. Like, that's just the long and short of it. Because the only other people that have any sort of market share is Google with Android, and the only money they make off the Android operating system is basically everybody who buys a phone that isn't an Apple device. They don't care. Google doesn't give a fuck about Android. That's why it's open source. That's why they don't care about emulation. That's why BlueStacks and Nox exist. They don't care about sideloaded APKs because it's still all going to get linked back to your Google Play account, and it's still going to end up giving them a 30% cut regardless of how you do it. Even if the game is in fucking Indonesian and you buy, $5 worth of whatever the Indonesian currency is, I don't know it off the top of my head, I'm sorry. 30% of that is still going to go to Google. Period. Because
Right.
it's all linked. It's all linked. Everything is hunky-dory with Google Land. But when it comes to Apple, since Apple is the only fucking Apple anything, iOS only exists on Apple devices. If you don't have an Apple device, well, you're fucked. Like, that's why some programs that only exist on iOS or only exist on Mac OS only exist on those platforms, because the developers who made that program only developed for that operating system. They had no plans of ever putting it on anything else. So good luck getting your hands on it unless you're willing to shell out a fuck ton of money to Apple to do it, because that's just how it works.
Yep.
So that's why Apple got dinged with a monopoly suit, because they're like, but what if people want to be able to use it on a PC, but it's a Mac program? But what if?
makes sense. Well, I think that probably is going to wrap us up tonight then, guys. It's been an hour and a half. Does anybody have any final thoughts on either of the topics we talked about? I know we didn't have a lot of topics, but the whole Apple and Epic and Google thing is a big one.
I just eagerly anticipate the ending of the whole lawsuit thing.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to see how badly Epic is going to be hurting right after it's over with. How much they're going to owe in damages and all that wonderful nonsense. I'm really looking forward to that.
That's only if they do a countersuit that they would have to pay any kind of damages.
Well,
Right,
then, did you say,
exactly.
Spencer, that Apple is countersuing?
Yeah, so Epic is suing Apple, but Apple is countersuing Epic.
Okay, so I don't know.
Which is why Epic had to do the restraining order, because part of the countersuit was them basically saying that if you don't stop your shenaniganry by the 28th of August, we're pulling your developer tool access, which is why
Right.
why Epic filed the injunction for the restraining order to have them stop doing that, so that people, quote unquote, people will still have access to Unreal Engine on the iOS platform or the Mac platforms. However, as I stated earlier, that is actually not what is going to happen. Epic is just a bunch of idiots, and they don't understand why Apple is basically creating this injunction to them. So it's just a giant clusterfuck at this
So
point.
yeah,
No one really
Apple's
knows who's doing what.
probably going to get a lot of money out of this.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't think it's going to go all the way to trial. Honestly,
Yeah.
the Google one definitely isn't, and I don't even know if Google's
Not a
going to be
chance.
bothered countersuing them. They're just going to be like fucking
Google
whatever.
has just been like, go talk to your fucking mom. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like Apple. The Apple thing, I don't think it's going to go all the way to trial, just because I don't think either side actually wants to see this go to trial.
Mhm.
Because I don't think either side thinks they can win, and
Right.
if they do, they don't want to find out what that means necessarily.
Yeah.
So I don't think that there's going to be like a proper suit countersuit. I think it's just going to be a bunch of rich companies fucking throwing a little bit of money into a fucking hat and moving on with their day.
Yeah, I think you're pretty much spot on there with it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I think it's time. Let's start wrapping it up. Let's go around the roundabout here, guys. Mark, what do you got going on, and where can people find you?
Well, They can find me at twitch.tv/markbwriting and twitter.com/markbwriting if you want to follow me on those platforms. For Twitch, I will probably be streaming this weekend, at least on Friday. I will be, and then on Saturday, of course, you're doing your thing, which I'm sure you're going to pimp in a moment. So,
Correct.
but yeah, we are going to be doing a tabletop stream
Oh,
for
fun.
Extra Life.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think it's going to be I think it's just going to be a continuation of the stuff that we've been doing for Vampire the Masquerade up to this point. But
Okay.
we are doing it with the idea in mind of having a charity donation goal to essentially like get it so that we can do a recap episode, which we normally just do for the podcast version of the show. We
Right.
would do it live on Monday when we would normally be role playing.
That sounds cool.
But that's that's my weekend. Otherwise, it's just going to be streaming at my channel and doing a whole lot of nothing, playing Warframe.
Your normal
mostly.
playing Warframe in your normal Twitter shenaniganry.
Oh yeah, like occasionally like posting about poops and things of that nature. Yeah.
That
The
just
usual.
really adorable pictures of Molly.
I haven't posted any pictures of her in a while. I need to do that actually.
Yes.
Agreed. All right. Well, Jan, where can people find you? What do you got going on?
Well, typically I stream Monday through Thursday as normal. You can always catch me on Twitch and Twitter at the same handle, SetletonCH. I am doing... Okay, so tomorrow's a little different for me just because it's not something that I get the chance to do very often, but tomorrow is my 2-year anniversary of being an affiliate on Twitch. So I am doing an 8-hour stream baseline with like time extensions based on specific goals. I actually put up a schedule for what I'm going to be doing up on Twitter, and also have it on my Discord as well. But I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. I'm going to be starting at noon Mountain, and then I'm just going to run that for 8 hours, and then based on any extensions, then I'm going to take it to like a maximum of 12 hours. We're just going to be playing a bunch of different games. I'm pretty sure that I've got a baseline schedule for let's see here, Muse Dash, Fall Guys, maybe some Risk of Rain since the 1.0 patch came out for that, which is really fun. I did some of that yesterday. We'll probably do some more of that tomorrow. There might be some Uno, some marbles, other games as well.
Marbles? Gosh, golly gee willikers.
It's like a racing simulation game. Everybody has a marble with their name on it. They try to get to the end first. It's fun chat integration stuff. It's kind of neat. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing tomorrow. And then Thursday, I'm not sure. I may just take a day off. I don't know. We'll find out. But that's pretty much what I'm doing this week as far as my normal schedule stuff. However, I know that on Saturday I'm doing 2 big collaborative efforts. The first one is a charity drive for another VTuber who has lost his computer, so we're doing a sort of get together and everybody sort of rally to help him get a new computer stream in the afternoon. And then in the evening I'm going to be on another channel for a it was kind of goofy, but it's a VTuber dating show called Puni Puni Paradise. I'm like excited to be on that show because it's just a big goof time and I can't wait. It's going to be super fun.
Sounds like a cool time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will do my thing, and then Hubs, if you want to close out the rest of the show with what's going on the channel, I will hand it to you afterwards. Work for you? Cool. So thanks for having me, guys. Letting me host. It was fun. It was a good time, and thanks for listening, everyone who did. You guys can find me on twitch.tv/MPI Creates now. I've changed the name. Too long didn't read. Everybody calls me MPI anyway, and just the name MPI is too short for every social media platform, so I had to put a word behind it. And I create stuff, so that made sense to me. So every Monday night we do Vampire the Masquerade, our tabletop session that Mark is our wonderful storyteller for and leads us in being terrible, ridiculous vampires. Every other Tuesday that I'm not here, we do a Halo night with my friend who has never played any of the Halo games, so I'm taking him through all of the campaigns in a fun cooperative campaign missions to lead up to Infinite, which hopefully comes out next year. And then this week, tomorrow night, Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to be starting Control. So I haven't played that yet. I love Alan Wake, and I know like they're starting to kind of integrate those worlds together. And I've heard so many good things about it. So it's like, you know what? I should give it a go. So I've got the base copy of the game that we're going to try before I consider any of the DLC stuff. But like Mark was saying, on Saturday on my channel at 7 p.m. Central Standard, we're going to do our weekly vampire session that we normally do on Mondays for the Extra Life Tabletop Appreciation Weekend. So we're going to set a goal. I believe our goal we're probably looking at is like $200, because we're only going to be streaming for 4.5 hours at most. If we hit that goal, we'll live stream our usual recap show that is normally only for audio podcast listeners. So kind of get a behind the scenes look at how the game works, what we're going to be learning and doing out of character versus just seeing the role play. So if you guys are free Saturday night, want to stop by, we'll be doing that.
All right. Thank you again, Spencer, for hosting today's episode. It was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for what you did.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Okay, and just to let everybody know, the next episode of GVN Live will be on September 1st. And at that point, Mark B. Writing will be in charge of hosting duties. So, saddle up and get ready for one fucking ride right there. For me, coming up on GVN, I'm still going to be found here on this channel. This Sunday, I will be streaming the 11th. Are we at 11? The 11th Virtua Fighter 5 bi-weekly tournament. I'm having a lot of fun with this. Sega has been showing up at our streams lately for Virtua Fighter online tournaments.
Hey,
so,
that's good to hear.
Oh yeah, Sega. I had a lot of fun with the guys that are working behind the Sega Twitter and the Sega Twitch channel. They're really cool guys, by the way. But we've been having a lot of fun, a good turnout for people signing up for the Virtua Fighter tournaments, as well as people tuning in to view. So it's been a lot of fun. I'm continuing this as much as I possibly can. We're kind of like in the middle of what is called the Virtua Fighter 5 revival project, and there's a lot of things that are being worked on and planned behind the scenes right now. I'm actually going to be planning something in regards to Virtua Fighter 5 for next year with a few of my buddies. And also, of course, besides Sunday streams and GVN Live every other Tuesday, I also stream on Monday. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I'm streaming something. Might want to bring back the every other Tuesday GVN Live plays. We keep starting it and then stopping it, starting it and stopping it. So let's see if we can try and get something to stick. As long as maybe if you guys are interested, of course.
Well, I mean, if we can find stuff that's 3 and 4 player consistent, then we can figure something out. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Maybe we could actually do some long plays. Me and Mark started the Tomb Raider, that one Lara Croft game. Maybe we can finish the game or something like that, and then move on to something else. Just an idea to shoot out there. But in the meantime, I want to thank everybody for tuning into GVN Live. I hope everybody out there had enjoyed tonight's show. It was a lot of fun. I got to sit back and you just watch, Spence do his thing. You did a great job, by the way. So on behalf of GVN Live, I just want to say goodnight to everybody. Toodles.